we go, everybody, decimals. Moving on to decimals. The first rule is to line up the decimals. Line up the decimals on the first two only. So we're going to line up the decimals. 9.8 and 2.12. I just lined up my decimals. What do you think, Boston?
Should you put a 0?
Then add as with whole numbers. You may have to write 0 as a placeholder. So I'm going to fill in a 0, and then I just add it up. Do I have to fill in a 0 when I'm adding? I don't have to. It helps to keep things lined up for sure. So 0 plus 2, 8 plus 1, bring down my decimal, and 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry the 1, and you get 11.92. All right, here we go. Where's the decimal on 8? If I have to line up decimals, it would be nice to know where the decimal is on 8, or does it not have one? The decimal, is 8 a whole number, or is it a number less than 1? It's a whole number, so wherever I put the decimal, I bet it still look like a whole number. So that would be 8.0 that you might be thinking of. It's a whole number. Minus 1.65. Do I have to fill in placeholder zeros when I'm subtracting? Yes, you do. You have to. So, am I doing 0 minus 5 or 5 minus 0 right now? Can I do 0 minus 5? No, you cannot. How do you take 5 away from something that doesn't exist? You can't. So what do? Okay, so I do have to borrow from the 8, which becomes a 7. I'm taking, and that 1, when I go to the next place, is actually 10. When you're moving between places, remember, you're going by tens. I'm adding 10 to 0. 10 plus 0 is 10. Now I can borrow from the 10, and I put the 1, which is a 10, and I can do 10 minus 5. 9 minus 6, 7 minus 1, and don't forget to bring down my decimal. Multiplying, you, big star here, you do not line up decimals. You do not line them up when you're multiplying. Do not line up decimals. It says multiply as you would regular whole numbers. So forget the decimals are even there for a second. Pretend you're just multiplying whole numbers. That would be 1,159 and 003. You're not lining up decimals. You're not lining up decimals. I'm going to put my decimals in now, though. See, I just lined up my numbers. And when I put my decimals in, they shouldn't be lined up. Sometimes they happen to line up, but most of the time they don't. So you do not line up decimals when you're multiplying. Okay, starting with the ones place and multiplying. How many times am I going to multiply this 3? How many times am I going to have to multiply the 3? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I'm going to have to multiply this 3 to all 4 of the numbers in the top. 3 times 9 is 27. Carry the 2. 3 times 5 is 15 plus the 2 I carried, which is 17. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3 plus the 1 I carried is 4. 3 times 1 is 3. And now I'm done with the ones place. What do I need to remember when I come down here to multiply the next number? You need a placeholder. And so I'm going to fill in a 0. That's my placeholder. Some people like to cross off the 3 saying, okay, I'm all done multiplying that. I'm moving on to the 0. 0 times 9 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. And 0 times 1 is another 0. I have one more 0 to multiply. How many placeholders do I need this time? 2. This is a placeholder. This is a placeholder. I'm in the third place over. My answer better start in the third place over. And we're just multiplying 0 again. 0 times 9, 0 times 5, 0 times 1, 0 times 1. And then you add them up. In my own work, I would not multiply those zeros. I'd multiply everything up to the zeros. You don't have to multiply those zeros. Okay, but I did it because these are our notes. I want to make sure you understood placeholders. And then you just add it up. Everything should be in some pretty good columns so that you can see what you're adding. 7 plus 0, 0. The last thing we need to do is get that decimal in our answer. Then place the decimal. How do I figure out how many decimal places go in my answer? We're going to write that down right here, that there are 5 decimal places. These are your notes. I need 5 decimal places. So I start from the back and I count 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a little arrow right there that lets me know that's where my 5th place is. So you're counting 5 places at 0.03477. Okay, one more, dividing decimals at 10 hundredths, 88 hundredths divided by 1.6. Move the decimal point in the divisor and dividend until the divisor is a whole number. Yes, yes. So I see that I have 1 decimal place on the outside. I need to move this 1 place. And whatever I do there, I've got to do under here as well. And then I'm bringing my decimal right up in my answer so I don't forget it. Move the decimal point in the divisor and the dividend until the divisor is a whole number.